This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, y'all, man. Let's get right into it, man. First and foremost, let's talk about Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, right? We have to look at the middleweight division. And the middleweight division, from Marvin Hagler to Roy Jones Jr. to basically Bernard Hopkins, has been a transitional division in boxing. It's been a staple division in boxing that's been turned to rubbish and trash a la Canelo Alvarez. A guy who's not willing to pass the tradition on and understanding that it means something to be undisputed at that weight class. It means something to basically get all of the belts and become a belt holder. Roy Jones Jr. understood this. Bernard Hopkins understood this because they were both unanimous and unified champions, and Bernard Hopkins was undisputed. They understood this. Marvin Hagler understood what the middleweight division means, but Canelo Alvarez doesn't. He was given a fabricated belt, i.e. franchise championship belt or French fry belt. That's the truth of the fact of the matter. He was the only one to ever accept this belt. This denotes to us that this guy right here is not willing to step up and fight real competition. What are the three requirements of the franchise belt that tells you that this belt right here is a belt that you don't want no parts of? First and foremost, you get to duck your mandatories. You don't have to fight your mandatories. Go look at the bylaws in the franchise championship belt. You do not have to fight your mandatories. Secondly, regardless if you win, lose, or draw, you are forever pristine as a fabricated title of a franchise championship belt holder. Let me say it again. Regardless if you win, lose, or draw, you are forever fabricated in nonsensical form of giving a prestige of being a champion for life. Where do they do that at, man? Who raised you, dog? Let me say it again. Where did they do that at? Who raised you? Where did this rubbish and this nonsense ever come from? He's the only one that we know in modern day boxing that has accepted a belt that does not tell us that this guy's willing to have free smoke and is willing to continue to test himself. The contract he signed with DAZN is an 11-fight deal. So there's a lot of Nissan Maximas, Toyota Corollas, i.e. Ryoto Muratas, that are going to be fought in order to keep that 11-fight contract upheld and in its prestigious form. Because DAZN signed Canelo Alvarez based off of his cash cow status or his cachet in boxing. This gets heavily threatened if he fights the likes of a Jermall Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. Because these are the two real middleweights in the division. A heck with the duck Cinnamon Alvarez. And let's focus on the real two middleweights that really want free smoke and really want to test themselves and really want to be what we call real middleweights. That's Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. These are the guys that are being ducked, and there's a reason for that. Demetrius Andrade is a very awkward fighter. Can box your ears off. Can basically switch it up in so many forms, so many variations, so many facets. Jermall Charlo is athletic and explosive as you know what. A guy that brings a dynamic into the ring like nobody's business. A guy that his stamina is there for 12 rounds. And he throws shots that are what we call skillfully awkward. You can't see it. Just ask J-Rock. And his uppercut is second to none. So of course, you don't want to fight elite opponents of this stature. Fight fans, I'm imploring you guys and beseeching you guys to let's look at Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade as the real middleweights in the division. Ice Canelo Alvarez out of the equation, and let's look at these two. This is the real super fight at the middleweight division because these are the two best middleweights. They're the ones that are the two most dangerous opponents. I've never seen this before in boxing, but this is the first time that you can actually say in a division you have not but two boogeymens, man. Let me say it again. Not but two boogeymens in one respective division. No one wants to fight them. So they need to go ahead and squabble it out because this is legitimately a super fight because you have two super fighters that bring two different dynamics to the table. And when you hear reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders telling you liquid courage, a la Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo's been calling out Demetrius Andrade. See, that's Rudy putting plum brain stuff. Classic Doden troglodyte stuff. Ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric nonsense. Mel's been calling these guys out. This is the fight at the middleweight division. I'm telling you guys, these are the real fighters at the middleweight division. These are the guys that determining on who wins this fight, this super fight, is the one that lords over the division. Because when you have a clown that's sitting here blowing up and blowing down in weight, that's not a guy that fights in the division. You can't recognize him because he's not there consistently. The ones that are there consistently are Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. And real fight fans, not reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders, but real fight fans need to get behind these two guys. Because these two guys are the ones that are doing the heavyweight lifting, that are being constantly ducked and are trying to scrap and find opponents because no one wants to fight them. That's the truth of the fact of the matter. And anyone else that tells you otherwise, like the Charles Barkley commercial, anything less than that is uncivilized. This is Hino's Sport. Checking out.